moderator for Women in Testing panel that is hosted under the ISTQB Women in Testing initiative. And I would like to briefly introduce about this initiative firstly, and then I will move to these beautiful ladies. So, ISTQB Women in Testing initiative, in alignment with the goal of promoting gender equality in tech fields, seeks to empower and support women in software testing industry and beyond, by showcasing the leadership and expertise of women in IT and tech. The initiative aims to inspire individuals to realize their full potential and envision the possibilities for women in managerial positions across technology industry. Through advocacy, networking, and knowledge sharing, the initiative strives to create a more inclusive and diverse IT community where women can thrive and contribute to the advancement of technology and innovation. And now I would like to introduce my amazing panelists here. We have Dr. Claudia Ziger, the President of ISTQB, Elena Gavrilaya, Anna Kovic, a senior training engineer, Nino Abramowski, and Taco Abramashvili, lecturer and training author in Smart Academy. Before we dive into the questions, I would like to ask each of you to give a small introduction about yourself to our audience. Maybe Claudia, I would like to start with a small introduction about you.
Small introduction.
Small introduction is difficult. So I studied computer science, I did my PhD, and then I was looking for a job close by where we live because we already had small children. And this is how I came to testing. So at the beginning it was more coincidence than passion, but the passion came pretty fast, so that was easy. And since then I'm trying to keep on track in the sense lifelong learning. Software testing is continual learning. I think that is very true. And when I'm learning, I also try to give. So I'm teaching at the university. I was involved in like a network for quality assurance in Bavaria, and then I started to go to the German testing board to learn more, to share more, and from the German testing board I started to go to the ISTQB, and this is where I am now.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, happy Testers Day to all of you. My name is Owen, I'm representing Women in Georgia. I guess I am the only person in the room having the most boring profession compared to you and other panelists, but somebody has to keep things grounded. So my profession is I'm a business lawyer, graduating from Erasmus University Rotterdam in business law, and my career path has already been connected to working in international development projects and advocacy projects. At present, I'm working for Women already for 5 years, and mostly I'm responsible for mobilizing the private sector around the gender equality goals. So what we usually do, we guide the companies on how to empower women at the workplace, in the community, and at the world marketplace.
Thank
you.
Hello, my name is Anna, and my career path is not also so direct as others. And in the beginning, when I finished school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Many people are this way probably. At that time, I like math, so I thought that I would study economics and business. But later, when I finished my studies, I was not also sure what I wanted to do that time. But I had the exchange semester at that time in Germany, and there I was introduced to this Agile methodology and Scrum. And I, in my head, was connecting the Agile methodology and project management itself to my profession and business management. I started working as a junior project manager at that time in one of our tech startup companies. And there I also had some just one. And there where my passion started for QA also. And yeah, at the beginning I really had this fear that this switch from one profession to another without this background, it was kind of scary, and I was a bit scared, to be honest, but it's, maybe there are also people who have the same experience, and now we were thinking about that switch, and I think it's possible. I am also one of the examples of that, and there are always also people who will help you on the way to do that. And in my case, I was also happy and lucky to meet such people, and was also one of them in one of my jobs. So now I'm working as a senior QA tester in data, and also I'm volunteering at the robotic process automation lab, where we have also this new initiative that we want to suggest it as a service from our company. So that's also one of the things that I'm working on.
Thank
That's
you.
about me.
Claudia, maybe you want to?
No, I just wanted to keep the mic.
I will do that one.
Hello everyone, I'm Dino. I'm a seasoned QA professional, coach, mentor, and servant leader. More than 6 years of leadership experience in QA. I'm coming from finance background. I learned business administration, and I have always interest from childhood in technical subjects, computers, how to play games. And then this interest continued during my work in finance, and eventually I moved from finance over to tech industry. And before moving to QA, I gained global experience in business analytics, product management, UI UX, and always broadened my experience in tech landscape, which helped me to be successful in QA. And also, I mentioned that I have opportunity to work both in private and public sectors. I have opportunity to work inter-country and international projects. And now I am a part of Women Testing UK initiative of building innovative products in Uzbekistan, and I'm very proud of it. And also my passion, besides my professional work, is being a mentor and coach, and helping my team members grow both personally and professionally and achieve their full potential. And to sum up, I'm always happy and ready to share my experience and insights with people in this community, and I'm happy to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Yes.
Now it's turned on.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for attending us today on this kind of discussions. Firstly, I should mention that my career path in Germany in technologies was not very straightforward because I was graduating from business administration and management school. And I remember that I was passing some mentorship programs in one of Georgian bank when I just was sharing my room with people from IT department. And I remember daily basis how I was listening to them, and I was always confused and impressed like how they were managing those stuff. And I guess in 1 month I already decided to change my path, and I had some trainings, and since then I guess it's already 8 years. First few years I worked in Georgian companies, and then I decided to move in international company PAM. Here I gained a lot of experience, especially from the perspective that I worked on live companies and projects with different roles and responsibilities. And right now, apart that I'm also a resource manager, I'm mentor and trainer for different programs, and I'm also international technical interviewer. Right now, my role in PAM, like in my current project, is delivery management, and apart from PAM, I'm also a trainer in World Smart Academy. About 2 years ago, we decided to have this collaboration, and we just managed to change a couple of times our training program. done to just improve our quality for our students. And I'm also very happy to be here today, and thank you once again for your attention. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Before I would like to move to discussion side, I would like to ask my qualifiers to help me to display the question with the QR code on the screen. Rebecca? Thank you. So, I think it would be also very interesting to know what our audience thinks about the challenges related to women. What do you think? What are the challenges here for women in tech sector? If you just can scan the QR code, or you can just enter to menti.com and enter the code that you see on the screen. You can just need to select what you think are the most relevant one for the Georgian. And then at the end, I will return to this. So, can you just try if you can enter? Does it work? Okay.
Go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Now?
Is it better?
Yes.
Great. Good. So, maybe I will start now with Tango this time. What enabled you to rise in your career path as a woman? And what about your current role? You already mentioned with the current role, but to be more insights there. And how do you manage to handle all this?
For me, the first point was always to make sure what was my destination, what I wanted to achieve. And once I had this clear vision, no matter what was the stereotypes around me, what I was hearing, just everything was ignored from my perspective. And I remember how detailed I'm still writing down the skill sets and achievements which I need to achieve at the end of this road. And the main thing always was that I was always making sure that I was developing myself and my skill set. Apart that, it's also very important that you are in the right environment, because I'm lucky from this perspective. I remember I had a couple of sessions with my hiring manager to decide what exactly I wanted to continue and how I was seeing myself. And regarding my current role, this was exactly the big challenge for me, because once a couple of years ago, when I was told that I was taking responsibilities not only about QA activities but generally about the project, of course it was a very scary moment for me, because can you imagine, I had to take ownership from the recruiting process and into KPI and SOA examinations and agreements, and it was something I wanted to run, but then I just recalled that, okay, this is what you already always wanted, so here we are, we need to burn all the bridges behind, and we need to push ourselves up and forward. And that was the key moment that I admitted that I had some gaps, and I'm always open that sometimes I need to improve myself. I just feel that not always I don't feel the same motivation level. Sometimes I have my highs and lows, but I'm always trying to keep myself pushing and keep myself, ambitious. I think it's very important, so I never say sorry for it, because when I was starting my career, I remember that many times it was confusing. Some people, especially, they were telling me that, you don't have so much years of experience and it's too early for you, but yeah, here I am for a couple of years and I'm still, as I mentioned, planning to go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakar. You mentioned interesting things related to stereotypes, and I think for a long time, for our discussions, we'll return to this. There are so many things related to this, so, maybe you can continue.
What enabled my career path to go like this? I like to say it was a combination of passion, perseverance, and constant pursuit for happiness, of knowledge. And I like to say that I emphasize through my abilities is with my results, my test results. And the one most important thing which I learned was to always believe that your voice and your team's voice are here, and it will pay for yourself and for your team. When we need something, I always make it to go to right place, all our messages, and to get what we need to make to do our work better. And also, my current role is chapter lead for QA, and my role is like mix of tech responsibilities and leadership ones. And here it's very important to have like time management, focus, delegation, and I always make it most important to have a supportive and friendly environment and team where everyone is valued and feels encouraged to be to contribute to the success. And my advice for people, especially women which are starting now, will be to always continue learning. Never be afraid to like say what they have to say, and trust in their abilities, and that everything is possible with right supportive environment and the right strategies from our side.
Anna, can you also share that? How you manage all this and all?
Yeah, for me, I think, I don't know if it's connected to stereotypes or something, but for me, I am so confident in it. I was not that way, and I always try to get this confidence from my way of working, or maybe it's also connected to that, or maybe it was because I had this tech, did not have this tech background, and I always wanted to do something that I can learn this, or I can succeed in this, or maybe that was because of that. I am still doubting what was the background of that, but I think it will help me also, because it's always I wanted to improve, and always I wanted to learn something more and to dig into the project that I was working on. That I would not have this feeling that okay, I don't know something, and I might be scared in any moment. But yeah, now I do like my job also, and I work also on international projects, and we have like the team is from different countries, and this intercultural experience also is nice for me to experience, and it gives me more passion. And also besides that, when I said that I also joined this robotic process automation lab, it's also one of the possibilities for me to develop in other fields also, which is connected to my field. So yeah, I think it's still connected at least to my tech, not having that background, but also with the women and wanting to prove that yeah, we are strong in stuff.
But Anna, like for all these years, you mentioned that at the beginning there was a lack of confidence.
Yes, yes.
But after all these years, has something changed with your confidence?
Yeah, I think so. That doesn't sound very confident, but yeah, I think I'm training courses with them, that's it. But I think it's because I don't feel now that I'm not confident in my job and I'm doing my best work. I am confident that I am doing my job well, and I also get the feedback, and it helps me also. So.
Yes, I asked because confidence is the thing that every woman has sort of life.
Yeah.
Here, so yes, thank you. I think I will ask Claudia if you would also would like to share something, and then I have different questions for
I think all the points that have been made so far are more than valid. I also kind of lacked confidence at the beginning pretty much, but I had a role model, which was my mother. She was working all the time, and when I had the opportunity to start something new, and that was when our son was less than 2. She said, do it, why not? Just do it. And my boss, they didn't even think of it. When I said I would volunteer, they said, but you just had a baby, we didn't even dare ask you. So this is where you can see the stereotypes. They wouldn't even consider that you would be a candidate for the job. And I remember when I actually took the job, and we were setting up a new office in Munich, and it was myself and a male colleague, and then we hired some new guys. And then the new guy said he thought that the male guy was the boss. So it takes some change in the brains of everybody, I think, to get used to the fact that you also have female people leading projects, international projects, and you, of course, need to learn all the time, and you, of course, will make mistakes, but you learn from mistakes and you carry on. So if you fall, you just get up and work on.
Thank you. I mentioned that I have a different question for Elena, like about cultural attitude towards women in Georgia. Like, how do cultural attitude towards women in Georgia impact their access to education, well, not necessarily in the same direction, and jobs related in tech as well? Quite a broad experience connected with the different sides. So can you share a little bit around this?
Sure. Nadia, you have to agree. We have talked about this a few times. So we meet successful women elsewhere in tech, and when we ask them the question about the barriers and their challenges, they say, I don't remember one, but maybe I know, I think about some discrimination, but it was just a single case. We hear lots of stuff like this, right? But the numbers and statistics do speak for themselves. And I came here with some boring numbers and statistics. It's not a surprise that women are not engaged in ICT sector, and we see very few women in the ICT sector because the sector is considered to be male-dominated. So when it comes to the statistics, according to the national statistics, GeoStat, throughout the last 10 years, there have been only up to 20% of women engaged in ICT professions at the higher education level. And last academic year, there were only 343 girls, which is number is very low. And we see a slight change in professional development programs in FED, but still 29% women's engagement, but this is also a very low number. 2 years ago, we commissioned a study in the rural areas as well as in Tbilisi, measuring women's engagement in ICT on 3 levels. So this is primary education level, higher education level, and at the workforce, so employment. And the largest gap we found that was in higher education level, so when girls were making their career choices. When we asked about their reasons, respondents named 2 sets of reasons. The first one related to lack of awareness. They said, we do not know any program, we do not know any opportunities or benefits this sector offers to people, like work flexibility, working abroad, opportunities, high income generation, opportunities, etc. And the second set of reasons were related to stereotypes. So we all know that we live in a community where our mothers, fathers, neighbors, teachers, they make the decisions about, mostly the decisions about our career choices, and they impact our career choices. And women respondents mentioned that because we do not have anybody, role model in this society, either teachers, IT teachers at schools, or some famous startuppers, women startuppers, startup founders, etc. So this is what is preventing us from going and connecting our careers in tech. So prevailing stereotypes are a really big issue and affects our decisions, we want it or not.
Thank you. So interesting, Sas. Yeah, but not so good, of course. That's our reality. And maybe we can continue. Like, what do you think about cultural attitude towards women in Georgia, and most impact on education and STEM fields? If you feel this,
Yeah, I think
according to your experience.
now I think it's really changing, and I think there is progress, like huge progress. But like when I was a child, for example, when I was choosing profession, yeah, I thought that I liked math, but I also unconsciously probably was like one of the stereotypes of that I wouldn't think that I would go to this direction. Because I don't know, at the time it was like a woman in tech. It was a question, big question. But now I think there is a like mindset change maybe, and now I think people don't have, probably with new generation, Gen Z, they don't have this feelings of this thought that okay, they might question that. And actually, I wanted to also mention, like, once I was, this summer, I was on a trip to Achara, the mountain region, and like on a billboard, there was like Tbilisi bank billboard, there was this STEM training and stuff, and like there was a girl on the picture, like representing that, okay, join us, and like I thought, okay, it's really nice, and probably there's
Much space more.
small things make difference in the end, and it's good.
Thank you. You know, what do you think around this?
I think that societal expectations play a big role. Like in some families or in some regions of Georgia, women are still expected to take more responsibility of families and household duties more than their professional ones. And also, this makes it difficult for them to apply for more designated jobs like in tech industry, as they know that there should be like more working hours and they will have less time. And here is the first difference between women and men, because women are more expected by society to spend more time at home. And also, as already was mentioned, there was female role models in tech industry, especially in the leadership roles. And this makes young women to, I think, envision themselves as leaders or as taking some important positions in tech industry. And all this makes them feel like from the young age that this industry is not for them, and like it changes their mindset from the beginning, and it's difficult then to like change it. But here's very important these initiatives from all over the country, from government and non-governmental organizations to increase awareness and like battle against these stereotypes and make young women believe that they can be successful in IT industry too.
Thank you. Actually, all of you, like not all of you, but majority touched the stereotypes and unconscious biases that also in my childhood I was often listening that maths and tech teachers are for men, not for women. I was lucky that I was born in, my father was professor in informatics. I didn't have the same thing, but yes, for majority I also heard the same stories. And Kako, I think you also would like to share a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll bet that definitely for sure culture really affects our life nowadays, how women are presented in our technologies. And once girls were talking about like some stereotypes, I recall that statement, "Miss Brain." Once girl had some skill in math, I remember that they were just immediately told, "Oh, you have Miss Brain." And I also have same story. I had not any information, and mostly these technologies and math were suggested for boys, at least in my generation and in my school. And apart that there was so many stereotypes, and to be honest, by the time, I was thinking it was normal, because I was also told that, for example, women can be good manager or can be manager because from emotional perspective, women are vulnerable, so that it will destroy my nerves, and that's why I shouldn't try to, develop myself in this point. Also, I remember that, that stereotype, when we were told that, for example, we should not push our careers because in the end we will end up with families and then we will have to deny our career again. And the tricky moment here was that such kind of statements, mostly in my practice at least, was told by women. I mean, I faced those stereotypes even from women and not from men. So, I don't know, this is strange, but good news is that nowadays situation is changing. I have a lot of stories. I can recall at least 3 stories from my training when we had students which changed their path even after 40 years old, and they are so happy and changed. And I think that such kind of inspiration always is so important because like this motivation is something which every woman needs. And I believe that we should spread this information that it's never late to start your career in technologies. This is for sure, like there's thousands of trainings nowadays. So yeah, I would ask you as well to spread that everyone should unlock themselves to try anything, absolutely anything they would like to do.
Yes, that's totally true. Like there are several stories when the women that after 40 are changing their direction and they are becoming adjusted. And in one of the conference a few months ago, I was reached out by one lady, and she thanked me. I don't know where she listened to me or where we met, but she thanked me because she listened to me and decided that she could achieve this, and it was so nice feeling that I could help someone to change her path. Now I would like to move to the educational programs and initiatives and mentorship programs, and I would like to ask Claudia to speak to our audience about ISTQB Women in Testing Initiative. What's the goals here? What's the plans? What's overall what we see here? How it goes, and to give them more understanding about this.
Yeah, thank you very much. The ISTQB Women in Testing Initiative started 2 years ago in 2022, and the idea was to put the women in the spotlight. And it started out with a series of interviews, and that was already interesting enough. If you listen to them, they are all, I think, they're all in YouTube. Really interesting to see where they come from. It's kind of our story, but everybody tells it, and you can listen to it. And that was the starting point. And since then, we are trying to organize panels, discussions like we have here. We are in contact with the UN Women. Thank you very much. That also works out nicely. We're trying to have meetings when we have our General Assembly. We're trying to have meetings when we have our ISTQB conference, just to reach out and make women in testing visible. Perhaps that's the best word. So I wouldn't go so far to say I want to be a role model, but that they just see there are women out there that already did it, so there's nothing to be afraid of, just do it. And that is the idea. Right now, this year, it is women in testing with the focus on Africa. And we are still, well not still, we are planning to continue it and work on, we are reaching out through Natia, and also in Portugal and Lisbon, we have contact with women in tech. So perhaps that is also another alley to explore, just to create a wider network. Perhaps that is the right term, a wider network that we can support each other and just show and also see that there are successful women in wonderful positions.
I would ask you really to share, because UN Women has so many programs developed in Georgia to support women empowerment and also connected with the tech sector. You did a lot of great job, my personal opinion. So it would be nice also to share about these programs, this mentorship or educational programs to our audience.
Yeah, sure, Natia. So the idea behind working in tech and investing a lot in tech is that at UN Women in Georgia and globally, we believe that technologies are best tools to empower women, and by empowerment we mean that women take the control and they make the strategic choices related to their lives. So we started to invest in attracting more girls and engaging them into technology, so for two main reasons. First, because technologies offer a better reconciliation of work and family responsibilities, and we all know that the family responsibilities, care work, as our panelists already mentioned, falls on women's shoulders. Second, because it might sound stereotypical, but it offers highly income-generating positions, and that's why we decided to invest a lot in this direction. So the first program we launched in 2020 was 500 Women in Tech, and we wanted to recruit women and girls with a zero background in tech, and the interest was quite high. We received 4,000 applications in 10 days, and we were able to select 500, but the program ended with that we doubled the number, 100 graduates. So the program was a bit of a private-public partnership, including G-Town board, including academia representatives and the private sector companies. And one of the first was GeoSTQB to approach us, and GeoSTQB mentored and offered the internship to the girls. The program was structured in the following way. We had an English language program, then the professional courses in UI UX, digital testing, front end, back end, etc. And then girls were offered mentorship and internship opportunities with the help of our private sector partners. And in the end, we had big employment forums where girls were connected to the companies. As a result, we had more than 150% employed during the project life cycle. Today we are running two programs. We wanted to build on the previous program, and now 200 graduates from the previous program are part of Women in AI and Women in Web Development programs. This will run until 2026, and in 2026 we will be announcing the new programs. Today we launched a new program also for, thanks to generous support of the government of Japan, a program for Ukrainian refugees, and Ukrainian refugees will undergo testing and graphic designers programs for the next 6 months. So these are the current programs we are running right now, but in 2026, at the end of 2025, we will be announcing applications for other programs as well. We'll be happy to share information during the break.
Oh, thank you. So many information about programs, so anyone interested in this, you can reach out to us during the break. Yes, thank you. And you mentioned 500 Women in Tech. Yeah, you mentioned that we were also involved here. Like when I heard about this program, I was really happy and delighted to be part of this, and GeoSTQB was part of this, and from the exact where I was also part of this. I really think that we need encouragement in this side and support, and I also know that Anna was part of this program, by the way, and she was beneficiary of this program. Can you share with us how it moved on, like what insights you took from the program?
Actually, for me, I was already working, but I wanted to develop in front-end development field and to gain some more knowledge, and that was one of the best experience for me to join and learn more. So it was a great experience, and I'm so thankful for this program. I think this such kind of initiative for women also is so helpful and beneficial. It doesn't depend based on gender. There are also some other initiatives, but when it's also for women, it creates more ways for them to join and start developing. And actually, I also wanted to add that, for example, in my company, we also have HR has this initiative that is called She for Her. And there is this calling, everyone who would want to start jobbing and join IT sector. they could just have some kind of meeting with women who works in the HR, and they could just ask her, like have some questions and get some kind of feedback from them, how they started, and it created a bridge and conversation between these women. So yeah, I think if the small companies also start such kind of initiatives, that would be also beneficial. But you are also doing a great job, so.
Thank you. By the way, I also heard that several companies have different initiatives and supporting, or they are also part of such big programs as, for example, when we were organizing in Georgia. I also heard that, for example, PAM was also part, and you mentioned also about your company as well. And I heard also that universities have several programs. Maybe, you know, I think we were discussing something connected with university, if you can share.
I'm graduated from Free University of Tbilisi, and we have Free Alumni Fund, and our fund gives scholarships, which are only for young girls in STEM field, and they give funds for 1 or 2 years. And I think the most important part is this initiative also comes from the women who are participating in this, who are part of this alumni fund. And I think the universities may have such kind of scholarships, but it's one which I don't direct touch, and I have this information.
Thank you. And Pekka?
I guess very interesting information was already shared. I would add just that apart those initiatives and programs, there are so many trainings and so many companies are opening positions for trainings. So just make sure that you are checking them, and I think that, and also some of them are quite interesting from syllabus perspective. So I think that right now, as or it was already mentioned, we are progressing, and there are so much opportunities for women. So I'm really happy to hear so much important and interesting information. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I think I will move to the interesting point. Well, it was from when I remind this side for my experience, like what challenges do young women face when transitioning from the education side to the workforce? Because when you are moving from and it's new page for your life, you discover that you need really good mentorship. It's something new for you totally. You have no understanding of what to do, where to go, and you are searching for the person who can guide you. Sometimes you prefer to be the same gender, for example. And in our field, even from the studies, I was, for example, always minority. And also from several girls, I heard that from their stories when they were starting the project, there were also one girl only in their projects, and it's quite often happens here. And so there are several challenges, I would say. And let's try to speak around these challenges now. Anyone who would like to start?
I can start because it's a troll topic for me right now. So what I'm observing about juniors, about my students, once they are joining new companies, is self-confidence, because they mostly have this kind of, difficulties to speak up louder, to share their thoughts, to, show some mistakes. They just think that maybe those people are much more experienced, and how should I speak up so loud? Maybe they will be upset, but I'm always encouraging them that even though you are making mistake and even something is not correct, it's still okay. No one is going to judge you. And mostly this is the self-confidence topics which I'm facing with my students, with my juniors, especially for girls. And while I'm just communicating with them, I'm always making sure that apart our education, I'm also providing them some kind of guidance from emotional perspective, because this kind of motivation and self-confidence is something, unfortunately, what I'm facing that they really need. So yeah, that's I wanted to say about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Pekka.
I think there are several challenges for young women, especially when they are moving from education to the tech workforce. The first one at the stage of recruitment and hiring process sometimes, and despite of women having such the great technical skills, sometimes their skills are questioned, and there is question mark if they're suitable for the position, or more men are more suitable. And also there is some culture in companies, and when women transition from education to the workforce and go to the company, there is some pull for culture, and sometimes it's difficult to be valued and included in these clubs. And also networks, which are more available for men, and they have such big networks, and it makes, especially in tech field, more career opportunities. And sometimes it's more difficult for women to build up such kind of networks, and it's hindering their career growth too. And all these things, especially have effect on their self-confidence, and they are afraid of taking next step, or somehow envisioning themselves to go up the career ladder and take up the leadership positions.
Interesting points. What would you like to share with us? Actually, for me, there are these challenges, and they already talked about it, but personally also maybe I had a bit of different experience. Like for me, maybe I was just lucky. Like there was always women whenever I joined some companies. There was always women, even in leading positions, and it was nice, and it helps also. But maybe could be, yeah. That's my experience.
Yeah, I will speak from some broader perspective. Like the challenges are many related to workplace, not related only to tech sector, but also to the job market what we have here. All of these starts and follows the whole employee life cycle, starting from recruitment till the termination. And I'll talk by examples that we can often see the job announcements, employers seeking for IT project manager men, or accountant women, or I don't know, software engineer men, etc. And this, we have already been part of the job interviews when they ask the questions where if we are married or not, or when we will give birth to our next child.
I have that experience, to be honest.
This is also accompanied with some practices, the employers having, not having flexible working environment. And personally, I've been subject to job interviews when I was asked if I'm available to work after the working hours and the late evenings, and I thought it was a proper question, and sure I will, of course. And there are lots of challenges related to this flexible working environment, other type of other processes as well, also development and promotion of the employees, because I know lots of women who refused the promotion because they had to sacrifice their family time for this. Too many challenges. Also wanted to mention sexual harassment at the workplace, which is also very prevalent. We did a study in public sector, and the study revealed that 1 from the 3 women are subject to the sexual violence at the workplace. And now we are doing the study in the private sector, and let's see what will be the numbers. And I just wanted to mention the wage gap, which is significant in the country, but especially in the tech sector is also very high, which keeps women and keeps them unmotivational to join the workforce.
I think there are a lot of challenges when you move from education to your first work. I have experiences like you, that I had an environment where there were 1 to 3 women, but I also had meetings where I was the only woman and like 10 men sitting all around the table. So I think that is a huge challenge. Personally, I feel the larger challenge was when you are starting to get pregnant and have a child. And that for me was a big break where you need to decide, do you want to continue to work or do you want to go home? And then a lot of peer pressures also from fellow women. Yeah? So I thought that was even more tricky than the transition from education to work. And then you need to figure out what you want to do. And that is, I think, a very personal decision. I think everybody should do what they feel the most comfortable with. There is no, you need to work or you need to go home. It has to fit to your needs, but it is manageable. This is just the message I want to give. It is manageable and you can do it.
It took years. So, I would like also to look at our screen. I will just read it loudly. So the question was, what do you consider to be the most significant challenges that women currently face? And that I would like also to have this question. All the other things that maybe we missed out and didn't mention, or just to summary up and move on this direction as well. So the answers were several ones, like lack of access to education and training opportunities for women in tech, unconscious bias and stereotypes that hinder women's advancement in the industry, limited representation of women in leadership roles within technology companies, and by the way, we didn't touch really well the leadership challenges and the gaps, and gender pay gap and unequal opportunities for career growth for women in technology. And as I see, the winner is unconscious bias and stereotypes that hinder women's advancement in the industry. And actually, I'm not surprised. That was the answer that I was also expecting, that would get majority of the votes. Let's speak more, like, what are the most significant barriers that we haven't covered so far in all these discussions that women face in Georgia IT industry and maybe overall in tech industry, and how can these be addressed? What do you think?
Okay, can I start talking about stereotypes until we go into tech industry? Yeah, I also see that unconscious bias is the root cause. So everything comes from the stereotypes and the prevailing norms. And we're also doing these perception studies from time to time. Perception study is a study where we identify what the society thinks about this or that topic. And in our society, we all know that the breadwinner is a man, and this is so globally, I mean. In our society, according to these perception studies, 80%, more than 80% of women and men, both, they think that women are appreciated more by their families rather than by their careers. So everything is evident, right? So.
Good to know.
Yeah, I think I would also agree with the English. I also think that it's unconscious bias and so on, but like if we think about the way how we can change it, and we know that it's changing now and we have some progress and so on, but I see such kind of initiatives that we already start speaking about that, and there are men attending and they are also thinking about that, and like for example in my company, we also have some kind of trainings, which also is about this unconscious bias and to like emphasize on such stuff. But you know, it's for now it's like online, and it doesn't open the way of communication and discussing it. Also, like at the workplace, like I think that if we just start such kind of trainings with companies and we speak about that and we share these ideas, maybe like it would help and start that with the processing of okay, why do you think that way and why we shouldn't change that. So, like I remember that whenever I go to like these corporate parties and we are gathering, and there is also men like they still also start these conversations like about, because we are still in minorities when such gatherings happen, and women are still minorities. There's some, like we have this discussion discussions, and I think there is still room for improvement for such mindsets. So that would be good if more companies and more people would have these initiatives, and probably it should come from women, and we need more women in these leadership positions to start these initiatives.
Quite often we mention leadership positions, so it's a we are like a sort of we all understand that we are lacking here more women. Yes.
I think that there are several good strategies to improve this situation. First is some mentorship programs, not only professional or technical, but also some programs which help women give some guidance, support, and introduce them to some well-known obstacles which they may face during working in tech and being in leadership positions. Also, some leadership trainings and development programs targeted to women, which gives them some team management skills which are essential to move to the leadership positions. And also, I think that the most important one is company and the company culture, fostering the diversity and inclusivity, and the company will work on this, like increasing the awareness and making some conducting some trainings about unconscious bias, and like being intentional when we mentor some trainings and skills for leadership positions. They should be intentional to give opportunities to move to the leadership positions, and the company also should be supporting this. And when they are increasing this awareness, also the team members and other colleagues will be like more willingness and more ready to see more women to the leadership positions. And I think it's a combination of all this work to help improve the situation regarding women. Thank you.
Yeah, leadership position is because there are even I remember that I also had several talks with the ladies trying them to pursue it, to take the leading positions when they were really good tech specialists, for example. I was trying to convince them because I saw that they had this potential, you can do it and you can manage it, but still there was a lack of this confidence. No, I can't do this. It's a thing that I can't be so good, and I needed to talk around this a lot. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, unfortunately.
I think that once again I need to return to these stereotypes, but I think that it's not about the current situation. I think that everything comes from the childhood, how woman was grown up, and what was society telling them. Because as we all will agree, like we were taught that a woman should not speak louder, or you should be good girl, you should do that, and this is so deep in our unconscious mind that we can't analyze why don't we have self-confidence issues. And I believe that mostly those barriers are connected to society, connected to culture. Of course, we are improving here, but for example, a couple of years ago, I had a technical interview, and I remember on the previous night I was reviewing everything, making sure that I was prepared. And the first question what technical director asked me was if I had plans about marriage for next 1 to 2 years, and if I was going to get pregnant. And of course, it was the moment when I just ended this meeting, because for sure we had different cultural, visions. But I think that such kind of cases should be taught, and I believe that such kind of attitude might block many women to step forward, because somehow, even though this is a technology company and today it's still operating on the market, but once again, I think that the main thing is our mindset, And I think that what we really need to do is to talk much. After that, maybe these trainings, stuff like that will make sense. But we need much more shared stories when women have success, achievements, results. And I believe that time by time it will be in our future generations' minds, and I believe that we will change it, because once again it was a couple of years ago, and I'm too young. I'm not working, but still, it was maybe 3 years ago.
Right. I think Ellen also wanted to make a comment.
Yeah, just to follow up on what you mentioned about the leadership roles. So this is a transformational change, what you mentioned. So there is a need of this critical mass of women in the decision-making bodies and elsewhere, because nowadays in Georgia, C-level positions are held only by within the enterprises, only 16% that women hold the C-level positions. And in our society, quotas are always demonized, men saying that somebody is taking my place, women saying that I don't want anything that is for granted, I will succeed myself. But indeed, quotas are the best way and the temporary measure on how to achieve the gender parity. As soon as the gender parity is achieved, the quotas are abolished. So, the more role models are seen by other women and other future generations, and more people come into this sector and into the higher positions. And this also brings the transformational change as well. Not only women in leadership are promoted, but also some organizational, cultural, some transformations are made. So, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think? What are the most significant challenges that we covered, or maybe we didn't cover, according to your experience and how?
I think the unconscious bias is still on top. And I hope that over time, with our kids, they grow up differently and kind of disappears. That would be my hope. Nevertheless, I think we need to work on it actively, talk like we do now, and actually also take the positions ourselves if we have the opportunity to do so. I think we need to be a role model for others. I mean, I'm a little older than you are, it seems, but nevertheless, I think we need to, if you have a chance, just take it and do it, because the unconscious bias, it's not that they're doing it on purpose or it's always malicious or something, but it is there. It is there, definitely.
And it will take years and time. Okay, I think we have finished our panel, and I hope it was interesting for the audience as well. I would like to thank my amazing panelists and ladies. Thank you for amazing conversation and discussion. If any of you would like to ask any question or would like to have some discussion, these ladies are available during the break, so you can reach them out and speak. Thank you very much.